What's up, everybody? It's Mr. 100K a day on the biggest hater in track and field podcast for another episode. And today, guess who we're going to be talking about? Abby Steiner. Now, y'all, check this out. I want to make something very clear. This episode right here is a derivative of the episode that we did the other day because I got so much feedback about the one on Abby Steiner and Caitlin Clark. But I'm doing this one specifically because of the fact that I want to drive home a few points. And one of the main points I want to drive home is that athletes like Caitlin Clark, Abby Steiner, and even Jenna Prandini, which is another sprinter from the United States who was overrated, they get judged on a curve, literally and figuratively. The thing is this: we have what they call the Great White Hope Syndrome. Soon as a white girl comes out of nowhere and she shows some talent in something, the very first thing they want to do is they want to give her a bunch of money, make her into something that she's not, and all of a sudden start comparing her to the greats. We see what's resulting with that. What's that resulting in with Caitlin Clark right now? She's getting punished in WNBA. She's getting ball snatched away from her. She's getting bullied. She's getting she's getting deboed, to be honest. And if we also analyze what's happening to her, even with the screen that's being set on her, she's really getting embarrassed when you think about it. She has a lot of turnovers. She's not very, she's a great shooter, but that only could take you so far. Her team sucks, and she hasn't been able to take them even to a winning record. So when we look at a girl like Abby Steiner, I see more of the same. Number one, I'm not going to sit and deny and make it seem like Abby isn't a great talent. She's a great talent. 2177 at the 2022 national championships. She ran some decent times. Can't deny that. She also ran some decent collegiate times. But of course, we know how it goes from transition from college to professional track and field. The problem that I have with Abby Steiner and the way she's presented and the way she's marketed is the fact that I don't think she is going to be able to transition yet into the professional ranks. Two things bother me. Her and Jenna Prandini. Now, Jenna Prandini has shown an ability to compete on a high level. Abby Steiner has shown that too. The problem I have with the both of these young ladies, both of them are white, of course, but the problem that I have with both of these young ladies is this. They seem to only run fast in the United States and under certain conditions. Particularly, they only run fast at Hayward Field. So what I'm going to do is this, y'all. Let's take a look at Abby Steiner's World Athletics profile. Okay. So we look at Abby Steiner's World Athletics profile. We see her. I don't like the way, that's another thing. I don't like the way her head is shaped. It's something about her face and the way her head is shaped. It really bothers me. So I definitely don't want to see her make the Olympic team this year. I'm praying she don't make the Olympic team. I hope that I think at best she may make the relay team, the relay alternate squad. I hope she don't even make that, but she probably will make the relay squad. But I definitely don't want to see her make any individual team. But that's a different story. So Abby Steiner, when we look at her results or her season's best, let's look at her results. Okay. So we're going to look at her performances over our personal best, and we're going to look at how she's performed in the 200 meters, particularly her top times. And we're going to look at the outdoor times. Okay. One of the first things I noticed looking at her performance is, yes, she ran 2177, which is her personal best. She ran 2180 twice. And she also ran 2202 indoors. I'm sorry, 2205. I'm sorry. I got it all twisted, y'all. She ran 2209 indoors. But she ran a couple 22.0s. That's all fine and dandy. The thing about her is, can we really judge her as a 2177 sprinter or even 2180? The problem I have is so many athletes, from Allison Felix to Jenna Prandini to Abby Steiner to even Noah Lyles, all of them have their personal best on the exact same track. So I don't know if it's the wind tunnel. I don't know if the track is short, But I don't lend a lot of credulence to people whose 200-meter personal best are on Hayward Field's track. I don't. I'm sorry. I just can't. When we've seen so many of the same issue, no allows 19-3. All of a sudden, everybody gets to Hayward Field, and all of a sudden, something just runs through their blood, and all of a sudden, they just start to run fast. It's suspicious to me. Even Bolt said years ago that a lot of people can't duplicate those performances from that particular venue. But with Abby Steiner's personal best being 2177, 2180, 2180, it just makes me suspicious. She's never broken 22 seconds outside of Hayward Field. As a matter of fact, her top 4 performances are all at Hayward Field. So her 2207 was from Hayward Field also. So it makes me extremely, extremely suspicious of her. So if we take away Hayward Field and we go actually anywhere, she's never ran fast in Europe. She's never ran fast under 22 flat. Well, she did in Mississippi, but this is all college stuff. So let's look at how she performed in 2023. In 2023, matter of fact, let's start at 2024 because it's even though it's relatively early in the season. She ran 11:05 trash, and it ran 11:3 at the LA meet. Garbage. We all know that. She went to Bermuda 22:7 with a tailwind, 3.0 illegal, but she ran 22:3 in LA. Still trash. And I think that's the meet where she got smashed by Sydney McLaughlin. She hasn't shown a lot. Actually, she looks horrible. And I didn't even recognize that she ran the 800 meters indoors at was that in Michigan? She must have did that on the low. I definitely did not see that earlier this year. But that's extremely, extremely surprising. I didn't even know that happened in February. So I'm not seeing her really have done anything that makes me feel very confident in what she's able to do as a pro yet. I think, her being white and all that, they give her that white privilege, same they were doing with Caitlin Clark. They put her on the pedestal and they're automatically ready to associate them with the greats. They're not ready to compete with the greats at all. I don't know why people try to push that. I don't know why people try to make it seem like that they are, but they're not ready to compete with the greats. That's the bottom line. That's the absolute bottom line. So the issue that I really have with her and all of that is the fact that she hasn't demonstrated anything yet. 2023, we look at her resume from 2023. Yeah, she went to Bermuda, but it ran 22:06. That's with a 3.1 win. 22:2, 22:3, 22:3, 22:1. She didn't do anything. Even in nationals, she went 22:07, fight to try to get and got forward, trying to make the team. She didn't make it. Of course, where was that at? Once again, Hayward Field. Outside of Hayward Field, our fastest was 22:1. So it tells me a thing that she's really a 22:1, 22:2, 22:3 sprinter. She's not a 21:7 sprinter at all. She probably needs to move up to the 400, but I'm gonna let her slide for now. So that was 2023. So we're gonna go to 2022. Okay, she ran all these races, and of course, they make a big deal out of it when it was time to go to the World Championships. But I'm gonna leave that alone for now. She ran well. She ran 22:0, a couple 22:0s in college, and that was maybe she has the type of body to where running a lot makes her run good and fast because she stays sharp. Sometimes that engine, when it's operating at a high capacity like that, it does better. But they automatically try to make it seem like she was so tired when she got the Worlds. But to me, she wasn't tired. Let me tell you why. Because at Nationals, she ran 21:77 and made the team and won. 3 weeks later, she goes to Worlds and she can't break 22 because she was scared. Because she had to deal with real killers. Because she had to deal with real talent. She knew what she was going up against. That's what the real issue was. That's all the real issue was in my book. But it is what it is. Her trajectory is very reminiscent of what happened to Jenna Prandini. Now, if anybody knows anything about Jenna Prandini, people know Jenna Prandini makes a lot of teams, but Jenna Prandini never makes it to the finals. And Jenna Prandini now, she's about 31, 32 years old. I'm happy that Jenna Prandini has never accomplished anything. I don't like her as an athlete. I want to see her fail. She runs decent relays. She runs decent curves too, but I don't like her. She's overrated. and she's old now. So the thing with Jenna Prandini, if you look at her resume, also one of the things you notice about her almost immediately is the same thing we see with Abby Steiner. Her fastest times are 21.8, her 21.9, her 21.01, her 21.08. These are all things that happen where? Hayward Field. Actually, her top 5 times all came at Hayward Field. And that's kind of really kind of odd for real. So other than she went to London for the London anniversary games, and that was in 2018. So outside of Hayward Field and outside of the one race in London, Jenna Prandini is really I mean, she went to Des Moines, ran 22.2, but all of her fast times come at Hayward Field, Hayward Field, Hayward Field, Hayward Field, Hayward Field, Hayward Field, London, Hayward Field, Hayward Field, Hayward Field, and Des Moines. So outside of Hayward Field in one race in 2018, and actually the one in Iowa 2018 also, um that was also 2018. So in the last 7 years, 6 years, she hasn't ran really anything for real. So I guess she's about 10 years past due. So I'm gonna leave her alone. But the point is, she only runs fast like Abby Steiner does at Hayward Field. And I noticed the same thing. The same thing happens with Gabby Thomas. All those 21.5s that she runs, for some reason, she only runs them 21.6. They only happen at Hayward Field for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I definitely think it's weird as hell. And this is something else too. I've noticed that white women in track and field, the sprinters, and from the United States, well, actually across the world, they have a tendency to do well, and it's usually a very narrow area where they do well at when they is do well. When they do well. Prime example. Has anybody ever noticed? Okay, Abby Steiner got the American record now in the indoor 200-meter dash. Got that. The world record holder is also a white chick in the 60-meter dash in indoor. Her name is Irana Pravalova. And I'm gonna show you guys something. And this is what I'm gonna show you. Irana Pravalova, she was a really great sprinter. Actually, as a matter of fact, she's probably one of the best all time from Russia as far as all around sprinter. She ran a lot of great times. Like if you look at her, these are her personal bests. She has the indoor world record in the 60. She's run 1077 outdoors. She's run 2187 outdoors. She's run 2210 indoors. She's run 35. She has the world record in the 300 indoors. She's ran 4989 in the open 400 outdoors. She's ran 209 in the 800. She's ran 816 in the 60-meter hurdles, and then she was old at that point, and that was in 2000. It was kind of funny because in 2000 she was 32 years old, and she just happened to move up that year, and in 1 year she wins the Olympic title in the 400-meter hurdles. So that's another story, and that's another reason to understand why the 400-meter hurdles is a weak event to begin with. But she has the world record. These are white women who represent the sport. These are definitely good athletes, not to try to put them down or anything, but they only seem to perform well in things that like you don't have full black participation in. The same way with Mondo Duplantis is the same way. Sha'Carri Richardson, Flojo, the fastest women in the world, Elaine Thompson, they're not running a bunch of 60s. So these are spaces where there's a black vacuum that white sprinters and white track and field athletes are able to go into, and then they break the records. They all of a sudden do well. And they have these things where then they get propped on a pedestal. So I know I'm ranting, guys. I know I'm kind of all over the place. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. Abby Steiner is not that good. She's not that good. She's talented. She had the NCAA record, but she was old. Abby Steiner did these things at the age of 22. At the age of 22, let's see where some of the real greats were. Okay, so we're going to start with Shelly-Ann. Let's see by when Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Let's see what she was doing at age 22. Because Abby was 22 years old when she did all of those things that she did in 2022 in college. Okay. So this is Shelly-Ann. Shelly-Ann was born in 1986, December 27th. So let's just look at Shelly-Ann's resume. Major championships. Her first breakout moment, and she has a very long resume, but her first breakout moment was at the 2008 Olympic Games. She won. She won the Olympics in 1078. That was in 2008. Remember, I just said that she was born in 1986. So Shelly-Ann, in August of 2008, she was still only 21 years old. So at the age of 21 years old, our Black greats had already become the world's fastest woman and had become an Olympic champion. Okay. And this is the people, I'm just trying to show you guys the comparison. They put white women like Caitlin Clark, Abby Steiner on pedestals, and they're 22 years old doing these things. But when it comes to Black people who are in the same spaces, they are excelling at a much higher level at a younger age because they're professional. Not doing the same garbage in NCAA. They're doing these things as professionals. So I'm just letting you guys know. So even the next year, let's make her 22 years old. In 2009, in 2008, I'm sorry. In 2000 in 2000 and in 2008, she was still 21 when she got the Olympic title. She turned 22. So in 2009, when she was still 22, about to be 23, let's see what Shelly-Ann did. Because that's the age that Abby Steiner was when she broke the collegiate record and the age she was in which she won her national championship, and she ran 21:77. Let's go to 2009. In 2009, Shelly-Ann won the world title in Berlin with a 10.73. So the thing that I want you guys to understand is that, excellence is excellence. And I feel like the bar is moved for Black athletes and white athletes. We have this great white hope syndrome where people want to prop white athletes up to make them seem higher, special, or more than what they are, in order to make them seem like they're more competitive. Now, let them be the marketing face, because the whites are clearly more concerned with white representation than they are with talent. But when it goes talent for talent, dollar for dollar, there's no comparison, because the things that these white athletes are doing, Black people who are the same age or even younger do it on the daily. And there's really no comparison. It's not even a thought process when it comes to it. Just looking at Shelly-Ann alone. Now, I can go into others. I can look at, like I said, I can go look at even Sha'Carri. I did that the other day. Sha'Carri Richardson just turned, she just turned 24. She just turned 24. But when you compare her approximate age to she's younger. She's a few months younger than Abby Steiner is. When you compare those things, one of the main things that we see is that Abby Steiner did what she did as a old collegiate. The Black young women who are just as talented, actually even more talented, they do these things as young professionals. So guess what? All of a sudden they're going to say, we're going to give Abby Steiner and these girls all this money because they think they're going to be the next big thing. They're not the next big thing. They just developed in college. So it looks like they're about to go pro and do something amazing. But she probably won't. And the stats show it. The stats absolutely show it. So before I go, because I think all this stuff is very interesting, I'm going to look at another Black athlete. And I'm going to keep it on female. Let's look at someone like Lauren Williams. No, let's not even look at Lauren Williams. Let's look at someone like Veronica Campbell-Brown, someone who wants to runs the 200, like Abby Steiner does. So Veronica Campbell-Brown, she's born in 1982, May of 1982. Beautiful black queen. Veronica Campbell-Brown has been on the international scene for a very long time before she retired. Well, let's just look at her resume. So remember, she was mostly a 200 meters. That's when she had her most success, in the 200. And her first appearance in the world, on a world level, on an international level, the major meet, was at the Olympics in 2004. In 2004, Veronica came out with bronze in the 100-meter dash. Okay. Now, mind you, let's not forget, she was born in 1982, May of 1982. So in 2004, she was just turning 22, the same age Abby was when she was winning NCAA titles. So Veronica Campbell, at the age, same age as Abby was, at the age of 22, she got, in 2004, she got the bronze medal in the 100-meter dash in Athens, Greece. In the 200-meter dash in Athens at the Olympic Games, she came across the line in 22:05 and was the gold medalist. And was a gold medalist. And was a gold medalist. Then, to add to that, she went to the relay. In the relay, in the final, she was also a gold medalist in that. So at the age of 22, I'm just randomly picking black sprinters out, sprinters of African descent. At the age of 22, Veronica Campbell had already Olympic gold medal in the 200, Olympic bronze medal in the 100, and a gold medal in the 4x1 relay at the Olympics, at the same age in which Abby Steiner was just winning an NCAA championship and a national championship in the 200-meter dash. So, guys, I don't want to drag this out. I just want to be very clear and make sure everybody understands that this is not about racism. This isn't about race. This isn't about marketing. This, to me, is about a complete understanding of the way the body works, the way genetics works, and how we, the media, not we, I'm sorry, because I don't do it. The media props up these white athletes like Abby Steiner, Caitlin Clark, and a lot of the other ones. They prop them up as old collegians who did not go professional, who ran in a very structured environment, who did not have to necessarily go through the rigorous drug testing that the professional have to go through. They run these times, and they all of a sudden make them seem like that they're the next best thing. They're the best thing since sliced bread. When the truth of the matter is, our black queens have been doing this for the longest. Our black queens have been doing this for the longest. In fact, our black queens have been doing it on an international stage at a younger age for the longest, or the same age. Abby Steiner did it when she was almost 23, and she didn't win nothing at Worlds or Olympics. But guess what? Sha'Carri Richardson, at age 23, she was world champion in the 100, a very difficult event to win in. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was Olympic champion at 21. Veronica Campbell-Brown was Olympic champion twice over at the age of 22. I could go on and on, guys, but it's time to put an end to this nonsense, trying to make these white women like Caitlin Clark and Abby Steiner, Jenna Prandini, and whoever else comes along, and let these mediocre white women be compared to these black queens who've been doing it and doing it on a very, very, very large scale for a very long time. This is another episode of The Biggest Hater in Track and Field, and I hope you guys appreciated this one. I'm going to catch you next time. Peace.